Welcome, everybody, to our Monday night empowerment session. Tonight, we will be talking about the Soul Naturals Balance category, one of my favorite categories for the adaptogenic supplements. And as always, if you would like to get text reminders about 15 minutes before we start our class, text the word LEARN, LEARN, to 1-866-256-1970. And you will get that notification, which has a link in it so that you can join and you won't miss any of our sessions. But we have quite a few products to do an overview on, so we're going to jump right in. So the balance category is what we're talking about tonight. And balance is the green category. And this is a great example of kind of what balance means when we're looking at this category. It is like this gal is here on this post. It is the ability to use whatever, your core muscles and shifting your weight and everything to maintain balance, not fall off the pole. Well, the balance category does that. It helps to bring the body into homeostasis. And if you notice it here, it talks about them being nutritionally dense with specific and unique adaptogenic properties, which impact the body overall. We're going to start with the testimony from the signature drink for the balance category, which is Soul Vital. And we have had quite a few testimonies with this product with our family. One of these was with the Vital Adaptable. It was only a few weeks after we started these. And if you guys remember, my husband's retired military. And he was literally stopped walking down the street in our small town. And she'd known him for a long time. And she just stopped him to Troy and said, "What's different?" And she said, he said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "You look happy." It just had such an impact on him. And of course, years down the road, we found out that we were dealing with a traumatic brain injury also, but the Vital was already making an impact. And then our third oldest daughter served in the military. And when she was in Afghanistan, there was quite a bit she dealt with. And when she got home, she was diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and other types of overwhelm issues, which I started immediately on the Vital and the Adaptable, and she saw very quick improvement. It was so impactful that when she had her next appointment with the VA, they were so impressed that they told her if she would stay on this protocol that I had her on, they would not provide or prescribe medication. She never had to be on medication. And this is, golly, let me think, like 9 years later. And she's still doing phenomenal and takes these every day, does outstanding, and has added to her family, has 3 children now too. So what are the basics that are in this amazing drink? Well, we have got 4 sources for chlorophyll that's in there: alfalfa, mulberry, nettle, and spinach. You're going to find a lot of companies do not pull their chlorophyll from alfalfa anymore. That used to be a main source. They're going with these other sources instead, but alfalfa is so loaded with nutrition because the roots go so deep in the ground. It's got all the minerals, and that makes a phenomenal source for the chlorophyll. The other beauty with this, with it being in the packets, is you don't have the degradation from being exposed to the air. So it's easy to travel with, doesn't spill, and you've got it loaded there. And then we've got 4 plants that are very high in plant minerals, which will activate our enzymes. They become like a catalyst. And once we can get the enzymes up and working well, then that increases results. What I've also found with this formula is how it helps just in general for the body to start addressing pH and helping to balance naturally the sodium potassium levels in the body. And then we have the 6 different adaptogens, which are in this, which are the same adaptogens in our adaptable blend: eleuthero, schizandra, astragalus, jaugelin, ashwagandha, and rhodiola. This is one of the core products that I've used also from my husband for him to be able to get off blood pressure medicine. And other people have done the same thing. And then adaptable is also a separate product, even though we have those same 6 adaptogens also in Vital. The adaptable also has St. John's wort in it. And this is a great, great testimony talking about a gal who was just had her 3rd child. And really, was not excited about being pregnant because had had such issues with postpartum depression in the past. But she adjusted her regimen. In fact, because of that is why she even got on Adaptable. So she had Vital, Excel, Soul Mega, and 6 Adaptable. And before she'd done 2, but no Excel. And so what I loved here is that whereas in the past, she'd always been unhappy after births, in this case, she had just few short periods of moodiness, get fresh air and be fine. And then baby blues and postpartum depression just became pretty much a non-issue. And as she says, this has been the best after birth experience she ever had. And just as a reminder for those of you who do not know, when this formula was created, it was because Greg's wife, Donna, had ended up with dealing with postpartum depression that carried on through. And so Donna's formula, which is also how we refer to Adaptable, does target that very effectively. And I have used this many, many times for many women to alleviate issues with postpartum depression. So like I said, we have the 6 adaptogens in it, and the key areas that Adaptable looks at is helping to overcome stress, dealing with adaptogens. When you have extra adaptogens in here, which just has a double dose, it does give energy, and it's different. It's not a caffeine energy or anything. It's just sustained energy, just endurance. It's also going to help that immune system and help with your mood to be balanced. And I like this diagram for how adaptogens work. It's not like it's pardon me, going to make stress disappear out of your life, but what it does is keeps the high from being so high when it elevates, and it keeps the drop, from the rug from being pulled out underneath you, and your body just goes back and bounces back with more resilience and more effectively and efficiently. Now we're going to hear a testimony about Solflex PI, a third product in the balance category.
Hi guys, Chris Hedrick here, and I'm going to tell you my testimony for the Solflex PI. I have the start of arthritis in my joints, in my hands, and in some of my knuckles, and when I take the Solflex PI, in most cases I take three times a day, and the inflammation goes away. I end up pain-free. It's fabulous. It's my one work wonder, and I've replaced all the ibuprofen that I lived on when I was playing ball all the time with this product, and turn it around for you. If you haven't tried it, you're missing out. Aches and pains, no longer have back pain. I absolutely love it. Message me, talk to Valerie, talk to whoever invited you to this video, and find out more about this because you need it in your tool bag.
This is such a great testimony, and we see this results fairly common with the Solflex PI and how effective it is in allowing people to not have to rely on ibuprofen anymore. And one of the beautiful things out of it is we don't have the side effects with damaging the digestive tract or the stomach. You can see on the left here the different plants that are in this formula: with skullcap, boswellia, which is frankincense, noni, curcumin, turmeric, magnolia bark, myrrh gum, and grapeseed extract. And we look at the benefits. We heard from Chris about how it works for her for inflammation. I have many women who rely on this during their menstrual cycle and how it keeps them from having as much pain, and they manage it much better. It also is very interesting for how it works for stress. Now, I have taken and been playing with different times of the day to take it, and I've for probably 2 months now been taking on an empty stomach when I get up first thing in the morning. Main reason because I wasn't necessarily thinking about it, but I was just also wondering, what if I took in this type of properties with these plants first thing when the body was moving out toxins from the night before. So at this point, I've seen some resolution of a couple issues. And so I'm pretty pleased with it. Plus, I like that it's right there. I'm thinking of it right off the bat. It also helps with the colon health, which a lot of people do not think of for Solflex PI. And remember, PI stands for pain and inflammation. In fact, we have a lot of people that combine the Adaptable and the PI for pain management control. When Troy was so ill 2 years ago and on such massive pain, that's what we did in order for me to get him off these high-powered pain medications. so quickly that the doctors were in shock. And we did it very effectively, very manageable without the other issues. And think about what happens when a lot of people are on pain medications is it shuts down or slows dramatically how the efficiency and effectiveness of the colon. So the transit time gets too long, and the longer that takes, the more it leads to impact bowels and constipation. And now we have the new Soul Royal, which of course we are all loving and learning about and seeing the different results. And I've been getting a few testimonies coming in here and there. I love this one here. I'm moving much easier, sleeping better, waking with less pain. And of course, people have asked if I got a little Botox or a light facelift, which she found pretty entertaining. And yes, her nails are growing. And then from another client saying that Soul Royal seems to be an even bigger game changer for her. Deeper sleeps, better moods, including her spouse, and not as sore joints. And I'm getting multiple reports across the board about sleep with this. We're seeing how it impacts the lymphatics in a very healthy way. And meanwhile, we have this beautiful formula that is designed to support the body by giving it the plants that have the building blocks in it in order to build collagen where it's needed in the body, whether it's in our joints or our lungs or our skin, hair, nails. There's so many parts of the body and cells that need these elements that people are not aware of. And we've broken it into 3 different categories. One is our concentrated peptide blend, which is going to come from the purple sweet potato, pumpkin seed, sunflower seed, and royal beet jelly. So the royal beet jelly is really high in your B vitamins and your amino acids, along with, we've got all these properties, again, that's giving it what we need to actually build it. Because if you're taking a collagen supplement, the body's actually breaking that down to build it back into one of the 28 different types of collagen that is needing in various areas of the body. And then we've also got our superfruit blend, which is very high in antioxidants, our polyphenols, and our vitamin C. There's some extensive work if you go in and look at Linus Pauling's research when it comes to vitamin C and the importance of it with recovery from after surgery or wound healing. And so, and even think about it with common colds and flus. This is one of the things that I've also been using for people. Remember, thinking outside the box here, it's bigger than just for supporting building collagen. If we're getting that vitamin C in this bioavailable form, it can have more impact for our immune system. And then with both our collagen and mood enhancing blend, we've got our adaptogens with the moringa and butterfly pea. We've got sweet potato leaf, bamboo, tremella, and aloe vera. This also has been helpful for a lot of people that have had some of the colds going around that impact the lungs. The bamboo has an affinity for the lungs as well. And again, because the lungs are primarily made out of collagen, this makes sense. So I've been starting to get reports from people feeling like they're bouncing back faster when they're sick if they're also adding in this blend to it. And then we have our Avant greens. And this is a fantastic testimony as well. And I like because this gal's been doing Soul Maca and Avant greens and then a Vital. And she's just been doing them very, very consistent. And what she has noticed is that it's not as extreme. Well, let's say, rephrase this. She would usually have very extreme PMS, but since she started doing this, what she had accepted was going to have to be status quo for her for the rest of life actually changed. In fact, when she got her cycle this month, it was so minimal that she didn't even realize that the cycle was coming in. And I've heard this report from so many people. And Avant Greens also was helping her be more calm, patient, present with her kids. And of course, remember, she's got these other 2 items that she's using also, but she's noticing general energy. She's been able to get up and exercise again. And that's what we're finding across the board when people get in and stay consistent with their soul products, is they have an elevation of quality of health. Now, one of the parts of the Avant Greens that I really like is the fact that we've got sprouted ingredients in it. And a lot of people understand and they know that the sprouts are important, but how many people really eat them or get them in their diet? And I do remember Cynthia Reed that when she was dealing with some of her health challenges, I'd be there visiting, and they were juicing sprouts on a daily basis for her to drink. And this is why formula was going to be so, or was so near and dear to her heart. But sprouts bring in more of the live parts of the plant. And there's a method of drying them on such low temperatures that it keeps a lot of that vital in there. And then what they call is vital food factors. Otherwise, it's the energy currents, which it differentiates between something that's living or something that's dead. And I do like this statement. And Anne Wigmore was very prominent in the sprouting industry and her approaches when she was dealing with really terminal types of diseases. She says she's convinced that a carload of cooked food cannot do for the healing and regeneration of the human body what a single sprouted seed will do. Imagine a farmer cooking seeds before sowing them. For that matter, can you picture in your mind any food in your present diet that when planted will sprout and grow to create new life? Cooked grains, beans, or vegetables won't. Neither will animal foods such as meat, eggs, and cheese. Only uncooked germinated seeds, grains, nuts, and beans can give us their living energy. This is part of the power that comes with all mountain grains. And it's so cost effective. You can just take a scoop and add it in with your Vital in the morning. Some people add it in with their shakes or other drinks. I like it in my Vital. And then we've got the longevity formula, which is our plant-based D3 formula. We've all heard and learned over the last couple of years the value and importance of having D3 in your diet. But having it, as we've seen with all the Solle products, having it in a plant-sourced format makes it so much easier for the body to get what it needs. We have a testimony here from Ashley Brannon sharing about her clients talking about mental focus, energy, every bowel movements, everything doing better, being a good game changer I guess that was for her. And then a client was saying it's feeling fantastic. It was the final missing piece to nip depression in the bud. So major when you get something like this, it can change the body like this. And then Tammy Bontrager sharing about how she has dealt with back pain for a long time, and the longevity caused a significant decrease in her back pain, something that she was very aware of, and saying that she would still have tight muscles or pain occasionally, but there's just a difference in how the body would feel. So this was something that really made a big difference for her when she added it in, and I know it's something that will always be in her toolbox. So how do you know if you need vitamin D? Well, here's some of the signs of deficiency. Trouble sleeping. A lot of people are surprised with that. Hair loss, slow healing wounds. If a person's getting sick regularly, frequent UTIs, digestive issues, obesity. There's some studies out there showing the importance of D3 when you're working with obesity and reducing that. Inflammation, excessive sweating. You can see that this becomes a very good companion product also for the Solle Royal too, because of how it works with some of the same things that the Royal does, or it's a good work buddy for it. Now, most people tend to need vitamin D, especially anyone that's living north of the line that runs from roughly Albuquerque to Oklahoma City. North of there, the further north you go, the more you need it. The easier that you tan, the more that you need D3. A lot of people don't have their gallbladder, or they have challenges with breaking down fats. Vegetarians or vegan diets don't have enough fat. And as you age, these are all different factors that can be indicators that you might want to add the longevity into your diet. And it is very unique because we have the reindeer lichen in this, and that's where the main source of the D3 is coming from. And I believe it's the reindeer up in, let's say, Greenland area. This is what they would eat to get their D3 that they needed, because as far north as that is, they definitely are not getting the sun exposure to be able to make it naturally. The Solflex AC, it is the cream with 101 plus uses. This is a great testimony about using AC cream that when getting wisdom teeth removed. And this, Sharon would tell her clients if they were getting wisdom teeth out, have them apply the Sulflex IC to their face and down their neck before surgery. And then I thought that was pretty neat because the day after, the mother called and had the young man apologize to her because he only put it on one side where the surgery was, and that side he had no issues. The other side, not so great. So what a great little test study that he did. So here we talk about 101 plus uses. There is a sheet in the back office on the Soul Naturals website that has all of those listed. This is just a few of them. Lots of things. And I also use it for women to put like over their liver area when they're pregnant because of how it's helped with morning sickness for a lot of people. We can also use it there to help with constipation. We've seen that work and be effective in young babies as well. This is a testimony tied to one of our grandsons. And this is about 8 or 9 years ago. He jumped off a tractor tire. He's like 4 or 5 years old at that point, 4 years old, I guess, and cut open his hand and needed stitches, as you can see there. And then this is all that I applied to it was a mixture with the Sulflex AC and then a drop of the Calm and Balance. And I had a container that I would use it with. As you can see, after the stitches were removed within a few days, how beautiful that healing is. He, as deep as that was, he has full feeling and no nerve issues, no numbness whatsoever in that area where he had cut that open. So what plants or what oils are in the Balance formula? We've got frankincense, which is great for lungs, skin, deep wound healing. We've got lavender, restoring harmony, so bringing balance to the area, helping with the autonomic nervous system or nervous spasms, helping minimize inner conflicts. Mei Chang, which is in like the citrus family, helps with skin blemishes. And of course, all of these have got antiviral and antibacterial properties. This can be help with the brain to function better. Geranium works very well for hormonal balancing and adrenal fatigue. And then Palmarosa works well with the thyroid, helping promoting love of self. And so now let's talk about the Courage Blend. And many of you remember 2 years ago, in fact, we just passed the 2-year anniversary day of that, when my husband Troy was so sick that he almost died from a rare infection. And he ended up with such extreme pain and he couldn't use one of his legs and walk. But the pain was so intense that they said it was equal to that of end-stage cancer. And it could literally would take us almost like 3 hours to be able to get him out of bed. And he's 6'5". I'm not. I'm 5'1.5". You know, it's just me and him. That was very challenging to try and help him get up and get around. And so I got to thinking what was going on. And I realized he has a massively high pain tolerance, but his body at a cellular level, I felt was knee jerking to the pain and not letting him move. So I realized that his body needed courage to move through the pain. So one morning I got up and I rolled that courage all the way from his hip, all the way to his big toe all over. And then I slathered him in the Sulflex A cream. And we went from a 3-hour process to 15 minutes to be able to getting him up and standing. This was one of the catalytic formulas that helped propel him further and faster through his healing. Now, this Courage Blend has got some balance. You'll blend it, some calm, and then we've added cedar and ginger. So if we think about this, look at this for working for feet, relief with kidney issues, intestinal upset, PMS, body aches, skin irritations. It's going to work with memory, sleep, mental performance, nightmares, and then emotional, when you're working with fear, insecurity, feeling defeated, disconnected, while boosting willpower at the same time. So you can see why this played in so important, because the pain had been so extreme that for so long that literally, after a while, it just wears you down, and try and push yourself through it. And for that to like flip a light switch for him was just such a beautiful thing to see. And then we have our new Soul Connect Compass Blend, which I really like to spray. And this is a great testimony that Angela Tinklepaw shared. Said she had a bit of a stuffy nose, that's supposed to say, this past Monday. She sprayed a ceramic bowl with a spray of the Soul Connect, added a few cups of boiling water, and did a steam breathing session. And it was just opened everything up. Probably worked amazing on just, mental outlook. And if you feel, when you feel a little off like that, and then talking about how she's just stayed clear with it. I thought that was such a great, unique use for that. We also refer to this as the everything spray. So there's multiple things that can be done with it. And we've had a lot of people get very creative on this, but using it as a room spray, people spraying their beds whenever they change out their sheets with it. It's a fabric freshener. You can see that it's great for encouraging motivation, good mood. Thinking about emotionally, let the sense calm worry, boost self-esteem, encouraging feelings of being appreciated and valued. And oils can impact the brain so fast. I've also, I use it with people on the bottoms of their feet, using it in the belly button because of all the nerve endings that come in there, can impact the entire body. This is the same way that I would often set up the diffuser, because this has all 4 blends in it: the calm, clarify, lift, and balance. I would put 2 drops of each of those in my diffuser and run it. So basically we were doing the everything spray, but in the oil blends, and diffusing it as well. So having this to travel with, I keep one in my car, one in my purse. You guys know how I do. I keep them sitting all over the place because it's not something that I want to be without. And now I have asked Greg Halliday to take a few minutes and kind of any last thoughts that he might have on our balance category. So Greg, it's all yours if you want to take it away.
Thank you, Val. And yeah, if you can leave that slide up, that's great, because maybe let me refer to a couple of those. Thanks again for all that amazing information. I am sitting here listening to you thinking, how can we get everyone access to hear this? Because it's so packed. I can't believe you get through that many products in such a short period of time. And I don't even feel rushed. So that's a gift. But a couple of thoughts that came to mind, and Valerie did ask me earlier today to share a couple things about the balance line. And one thought that keeps coming back to me, and I think when you think of the 4 categories of soul, you've got the 4 colors that we use to represent them. We've got balance, calm and blue. Balance is green, of course. And then red is lift, and yellow is clarify. And I do love talking about the categories because it's helpful to think in, I think, creative ways about health conditions and health. I mean, imbalances. I like a lot of people will call them that. Any health condition we have, you could call an imbalance. That's one way to look at it. And when you look at the categories, it can really be instructive to help us choose how we take charge of our nutrition by thinking of the category and what we're trying to do, what's going on here. I love how just Val's, your story talking through, thinking through with Troy, and approaching it in unique ways. Because as I look at the balance line, it is the most complete line of products. And what I mean by that is that by definition, the balance line has elements of the other 3 categories in them. Each balance product does. There are elements of lifting herbs or nutrients. There are some sort of lightly cleansing and detoxing elements, and there are and clarifying elements, and there are some calming as well. There are some of everything, some of each category in them. So why is that important? Well, to me, practically speaking, the balance group is the foundational, even though you can look at all of them that way, I realize to some degree. But more so than any other category in soul, that green group is meant to be foundational. So if something is foundational to me, I'm first going to use a small amount and see and feel how it works in me. I'm not saying necessarily cut the dose even lower than the recommended, but you might sometimes, sometimes if it's 2 capsules, I might try 1 and see what I notice before I go to 2. I think that's always instructive. But the key in using the balance line is also looking at how it works in you and then scaling it over time to your needs. Sometimes up, sometimes back, but always using them, because I'm thinking of the avant greens and the sprouts and vital. Valerie likes to combine those two. They were designed to replenish the things that get most depleted in our society today. In a typical stress level life, or which is on the high side, I just think, for everybody right now. And so things like minerals, sprouts are a no-brainer because they're much more concentrated, like Valerie said. So they're meant to replenish things that get depleted more broadly. They're meant to support the body's regenerating every day. They're meant to kind of address the biggest issues that our body needs to stay in balance. And sometimes we need to find the quantity that's right for us. And that's what I wanted to leave you with today. These are products that you can comfortably scale them, around. Scaling doesn't always mean, I'm using more and more and more, but it might if I'm going through something, or it might if something big happened. I need to not be afraid during a shorter period of time, of finding the nutritional energy to match the healing need or the change need. And that's my thought tonight, is with the balance line. Think of it that way, and don't be afraid to combine and use. And also, once you're past that and you don't feel like that much, listen to your body there too, and back it back down, because you don't need that much on an ongoing basis. You just need a little bit of it. And then there are times when we'll use more. Back to you, Val.
Perfect. I love that. And I do exactly that. It's about listening to the body, and there are different periods. There was a period of time where my body was just needing lots and lots of vital, and then it backed off, and it was, 1 a day was sufficient. And then it went through a period where right now it's craving the Soul Royal. So I listen to that, as I know that my body is telling me that at that moment it needs more of a therapeutic dose. And I know that it won't stay that way. So I wanted to finish off with this quote. Good health is a crown worn by the healthy that only the ill can see. And I thought this peach tree, and this is from, we actually a couple of years ago went peach picking at an organic orchard with the grandkids. And notice, when the tree is healthy and the conditions are right, it bears beautiful and bountiful amounts of fruit. That is what our health is supposed to be like, but we don't always realize what we have. But I guarantee you, those who don't have it recognize it, and it's something that they want. And it's as obvious as the fruit being born on this peach tree. So I just thought that was something to ponder there. Next week, I will be jumping on and teaching about the Soul Royal. And I think you're going to like how I'm going to break this down into a couple different sections. So I hope you get the opportunity that you will join us next week so that we can learn more about the Soul Royal.